Thank you so much. Really happy to be here. Linda, I can't say how proud I am of what you're doing. It's always amazing when people have done well and they don't close the door behind them. Do you understand? They open the door and they say, oh yeah, come, let me share what I have what I have, your own experience. So it's amazing work. And all the other people that will be speaking, I personally can't wait for your own sessions. I have my pen and my own paper ready. And Ajoke is my girl, so lovely to see you here as well. Yeah, blowing you kisses. Okay, so I only have 15 minutes and I'm going to be really respectful of everybody's time. And as you can already sense, I love it when there's more interaction, especially when we're in this virtual environment where cameras are off. So I don't know if you can just say good morning or good afternoon wherever you are, or good evening in your local language. I don't know who can do it. For me, I'm from the eastern parts of Nigeria. I'm an Igbo girl and an Enugu girl. So mine is Kedu Heneme, Kenkeneme, Kenkenagaga. Okay. Oh, like, thank you, Ajoke. I don't know how to pronounce it. I haven't seen this one before. Can you
Inakwana.
help me? Oh, can you imagine? And I know it's not
I'm Yoruba, but I speak more of Hausa, so it's Inakwana.
in Aquana.
Yes.
Okay. Ekason. Okay, thank you so much. If I have never spelled Inakwana in my life, but I know it. Yeah. So morning, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm from a different I'm in a different time zone. So really pleased to be here. And for those of you that haven't had the pleasure of meeting, I think Linda has done justice to my profile. I've done like 25 years working in a lot of very lovely, amazing companies, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Cisco, Nokia. And now I've transitioned from 9 to 5 and I've moved into leading my own consulting business. It's called B4B. We do individual consulting and business consulting, specifically around revenue. And then I also am a managing partner at Plastic Code Labs. We build mobile web apps and software for non-tech founders specifically. So it's been very, very interesting for me. And there's something I say a lot, and people always say that it's almost like I'm boasting, but I always say for us women, we have to realize if it is facts, we're not bragging. The truth is, since I was 15, I've achieved every single goal I've set for myself. And whenever I say this, true story, like I'm not fronting. Every single major goal I've built for, I've set, I've actually achieved. And that's why I put by the grace of God, because sometimes when we come on these calls and we share our story and you see all the places people have worked, all the great things they have done, like when you hear some of the profiles of the other speakers, you'll be feeling like, God, when will I be able to achieve? So I always put by the grace of God in the beginning, because I understand time and chance happens to us all. An open door will be presented to me at an opportune time. And I know it's going to happen for everybody. But the truth is, a lot of times people question this statement because only 8% of people actually achieve their goals. So it's a very sobering statistic when you think of the fact that all of us that are here, 92% of us may not achieve the goals we set. And there are many reasons for this. And that's why I was so excited to be part of this session. Some people will say vision. So I have a framework on how you set your vision for your goals. There's a framework of how to set your goals. I think it was was it Adako? You were saying that you're not able to set a time frame for your goals or a timeline. That's very popular, and that's why we always talk about SMART goals. So it's specific, it's measurable. Some people is mindset. You don't have a growth mindset. You actually don't believe you can achieve these goals or the vision, or you set your vision too small. I like what Linda said in the beginning, that she has a big, audacious goal. It's really important to have those kind of things in front of you. But in as much as I have had an amazing run in my life, I can't deny it. There was many hiccups along the way. There were times that I felt my career had stalled, my life had stalled. And one pivotal moment for me was when I had wanted to work at Microsoft. And Microsoft at that time was not in Nigeria. Please, this is a small group of people. So please, if you have any questions, comments, just put it in the chat. I'll pick it up as I go. Yeah, I'd been in Microsoft for a couple of years. I had gotten married. I had a set of twins. I was overwhelmed, to be quite honest. And I didn't feel like I was really top of, in terms of performance. I had stalled in my career, so I wasn't being promoted. I was still an individual contributor. I just felt like I hadn't really achieved where I should have been. And I was in my late 20s at this time. I'd worked for like 3-4 years. And at that time, I discovered something really important. And this quote from Bill Gates helped center me. And it says here, most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So I don't know how many of you have heard of Gingerlicious January. That's what I call it. Some of us want to get healthier, and we're saying, come January 1, I'm going to cut coke. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to lift tire. I'm going to use hammer on the tire, and I'm going to do 100 sit-ups per day. In fact, 6-pack. I'm going to get my new international tech job, like Grace wants to break into tech. And you try and do everything in 1 year or in 2025. But the truth is, where you find a lot of success isn't in this kind of focus on 1 year. It is your daily routine, right? It's what do you do every single day to achieve your goals. So in Build for Balance, which is the community we have, this is we have a quote every year. And for 2025, this is our quote. It's be brave enough to dream big, then chase those dreams with deliberate actions every single day. So let's take, for example, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Adeogo. Is that correct?
It's Adeogo. You're very close.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Or you can call me
Adeogo.
Eunice. Eunice might be better. Eunice.
Why do we have multiple names? It's always confusing me. Like somebody will say, my name is Eunice, but you can also call me Grace. And if you can't call me Grace, then you can call me Linda. How would you notice that? Okay, so like what you're saying about securing an international remote job, there are things that you can start doing, and I'm sure you're already doing it to secure the job. But a lot of times, if it doesn't happen in the way we want it to happen, you could then get fatigued, or you could get tired and say, this goal is not working. But the truth is, you can do something very, very small as, I'm sure you've already done this, updating your LinkedIn, reaching out every week. Like, for example, every single week, I have a virtual coffee chat with somebody on LinkedIn. Somebody I don't know, somebody I have no networks with, like personal relationship. I'll send a number of connection requests at the beginning of every week. And then by the end of the week, I should have identified somebody I would love to have a 15 minutes with. Hey, I love what you're doing, would love to know more about it. And this is how I consistently grow my network, not only online, but offline as well. So when we have events, or if I'm traveling to a country where the person is, I arrange coffee meets. You see, it's something so tiny, but it's something I do every single day. It's in part of my daily routine to grow my network, and I'm intentional about it. So that is very important when we're achieving our goals. But the truth of the matter for us is that you have so much that you're thinking of, right? You're thinking of home, family, you're thinking of your community connections. Networking is something that is so powerful for us as we're trying to grow. All the jobs I have gotten, I'm being very sincere, I've been headhunted because I've always invested in building my network and my personal brand, and then making sure that I backed it up with real life examples. So people know, if you want your business to grow and you want your business to succeed and you want to build a high performing sales team in tech, it's Napa you call. And it's not just using forgive me, frying pan on social media and actually building the skills and the abilities to deliver on my brand promise. But it's very easy to say this now in a Google Meet chat when you are combating so many things, right? Especially for us women as well. And like I said, I'm married, I have kids. And for those of us that have children, I have a set of twins and they're 22. your parenting never ends, it just changes, but the investment is always there. And then we also have our health and well-being, and us women, we have quite a bit that we contend with. So what we tend to do is we try and balance everything, right? But the challenge here is that if suddenly your child is sick, or if suddenly at work you're having an emergency, everything seems to fall apart. So what I always encourage is integration. And I will give an example at the end of a very simple integration tactic I use. So everything in my life is one thing: my spiritual being, my physical health, my work, my family. So I don't separate them. I put them all together and I look at how all these things can help me be successful. And if you think of it along those lines, having that integrated focus, like having everything in your life being one thing, it's you, and then focusing on you and achieving your goals with daily actions, it means you can actually be very productive. Okay, so there are three things that I want to kind of just highlight that I've done consistently since the age of 15 that helped me achieve the success that I've been able to in my life. And one is habits, second is priority, and the third one is systems. But everywhere is a bit quiet. Linda, thank you. Parenting never ends. Like, people think once they're 18, it's not true. You follow your child through transitions in their life, and you have to equip yourself as a parent for the next transition. It's so true, Linda. So now they're going into the workforce. You are building your network, not just for yourself, you're building it for your children. So you can open doors. You are, yes, platforming them, and then being able to learn about finances, investment, so you can teach them as well, but that's just on the side. So yeah, okay, I saw some reactions just to make sure I'm still in the room. So the first one is habits. I'm sure most of us have heard of this book. If you've heard of it but you haven't read it, you don't have to actually read it. It's so popular now that there are short 7-minute videos on YouTube that teach you Atomic Habits by James Clear. And this is exactly what Linda, you mentioned it when you opened up as well. You talked about consistent and small changes. You see, this sickness called ginger in January, it's a real sickness. People come and say, this year, the weight you have not lost in 20 years, you're going to lose it in 3 months, and you're going to go to the gym every day. No, start small. Start with consistently walking 10 minutes every single day. And it looks small, but the truth is you need to build good habits. And there are many techniques and tools that help you build good habits. One that works for me is called habit stacking. So what I do is I look for something I do already. So for me, I'm very particular about my spiritual growth, because what happens is when you go through trials and tribulations, for me as a Christian, and I know some of us may not be Christians on the call, but I'm just sharing very transparently, is that you may go through trials and tribulations and then you are not able to withstand it because your spirit is not strong. And there's a scripture that comes to mind. It says that if you faint in the days of adversity, your strength is small indeed. So what I do is, most people say, don't pick up your phone first. Don't pick up your phone first. But it's the first thing I do. So what I do is I keep my phone on airplane mode, and I have a Bible app, and I do 10 minutes before I get up. I still have my quiet time later on in the morning. But if life gets in the way, I would have spent time with God. This is habit stacking. So my phone it's something I already do. So I put a good habit on top of that, and it helps you. So this is an example, and it comes with you knowing yourself. So you have to build those habits over time. Think of routine, think of compound efforts, and then you track your small wins. Something I say all the time: progress, not perfection, right? So some people will now say, I'm going to learn how to play the saxophone this year because my husband and I are going to have a band with our children, whatever. But, kind of be more realistic in your approach, right? The second thing is prioritization. This is an area, whenever I'm doing personal coaching for people, it's really a struggle for them. And I use the Eisenhower matrix. I just want to, I'm wrapping up soon. So I use the Eisenhower matrix. The Eisenhower matrix allows you to identify which tasks you need to do are urgent or important. You look at the lens of your task through this. So for those of us that have used this before, I'm sure you know how effective this is. And a lot of times we look at whether a task is important or we look at whether a task is urgent. You have to look at both. And I find that a lot of people put everything in urgent and important, as opposed to saying, this one is not urgent, it's not important, I'm not doing it this week. What I do, again, habits, is every Sunday between 5 and 6 p.m., I look at my list of tasks for next week, and then I go through my matrix. So the things that are very important and very urgent, I make sure I do it as soon as possible within the week. The things that are important but not urgent, I will schedule it in calendar. The things that are not important but urgent, I will delegate it. And people will say, Napa, you have a team, people that report to you. Delegation is easy. But now with AI, you can delegate to a lot of tools. There's a tool I use a lot, it's called Zapier. Zapier allows me to automate a lot of email responses, etc., and so forth. And then if it's not important and not urgent, I don't do it that week. That's how you kind of make sure you prioritize. So you're spending effort and time on the most important things. Now, I'm just going to spend 1 minute on this point. And this is a quote I use a lot, is that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So a lot of times we need good systems to make hard work easier and help you to get more done. So getting more done is all about productivity. I don't know if you've seen people or you've worked with people that seem to put in a lot of hours, but they don't actually get a lot of quality work done. And I say that productivity is a science. It's legitimately a formula, and it's output over input. So what it means is that if your input, like the effort you're putting into the job, is a lot and the output is very small, what it means is that you're a low productivity person. You're not a high performing person at all. So people estimate high performing by the number of hours. Actually, it's not. It's the output, right? Now, usually for people that are low, for people that have low productivity, they don't have good systems and processes. So you would find that in the beginning, when you start using systems and processes, your input, the work you need to put in, is a lot. But the more you use your system and your process, the input is significantly less and less and less, and the output becomes more and more. And suddenly, over time, you now become a highly productive person. It's a question people always ask me, like, how do I get so much done, right? So I'm a minister in church. I I'm building 2 businesses. I am a creative director in a magazine. I'm a founder of 2 apps. You know, like when you think of the scope of what I do, it looks like I'm a superwoman. No, I have super processes and systems. And I make sure that my systems and processes are simple. So don't go and boil the ocean, please, or sweep the desert. You just need to make it simple, scalable. So as you are using the system and it's getting better, you are able to make it more efficient and flexible, right? And it must be automated and it must be goal-oriented. There's no point creating a system or a process that doesn't align with your goals. So I have 1 more minute. I'm just going to give you some things that some systems and processes I do. Remember, simple, flexible, scalable. One of the things is I onboard people into my team. And we have a lot of documents because we do consulting. Anybody that has a consulting business or you've touched on maybe customer success like Ajoke, you know that there's a lot of documentation. We created a very simple Google Sheet that has links to documents, but it's arranged. It's very, very simple, but it saves us so much time because anytime anybody in the team has a question, we always say, go to the playbook. We're now migrating our playbook to a knowledge base, but it's so easy because everything is in one place. So we don't waste time looking for things. People automatically go to the playbook first. We also did this with our onboarding. Anytime that somebody asks a question in the team, we put it in the playbook and then we do a very quick look video and put it in our onboarding. So we've automated it. When people onboard on our team, there's nothing we need to do, absolutely nothing, right? Another thing is calendar. Everything is in my calendar. As soon as you ask me for something, I'm always like, block my calendar, please block my calendar, because that's my point of truth. I also use a scheduling link. I have several scheduling links that I use for different things. But remember, Sunday, I plan my week. So I plan my calendar, what I'm going to do. So that means when I want to schedule a meeting with somebody, I don't have to say, are you free at 2? No, I'm not free at 2. You're wasting time. And what you don't have is time. You need to maximize your time and prioritize effectively. The other thing is I have a process for my speaking engagements. So when I have speaking, like this engagement I've had, these slides, I will save these slides. There's a way I save my slides so they're easy to access. I have a Google folder that has my profile pictures, my short bio, my long bio, everything. and my brand and commerce manager has access to it. It's a very simple system, but it saves so much time. I mean, when Linda reached out to me, I was able to respond to her very, very quickly because I had all the information I needed. It was easily accessible. And then for us parents, I had very long hours. So I've led teams in Europe, Middle East, Africa, and I think those are the countries I've covered. And I've led very complex teams, cross-cultural. So, you know, as much as we want to say you want to stop work at 4, people always say, close your laptop. I would work sometimes from the morning to the evening. So what I did was I would leave work and pick up my children from school and then come back. I'll have a quick snack with them. And then we had homework time, work time. So for 2 hours, they would do their homework. But we would set a 25 minutes where nobody was allowed to talk. You do your homework, and then we'll have a 10-minute break and you can gist and talk. So because they were waiting for the 10 minutes, they will quickly run through their homework. I'll be able to help them. And I was working as well. Very simple process and system. It allowed me to stay connected to my kids. I was able to pick them up from school. So I was able to, and I had the flexibility. Some of us may not, and it's fine. But just to think of different ways you can build systems and processes that make you integrate your life. So I was still working, but those 10 minutes, I'll be able to gist and flow with them, and we will gossip and all of that. And then we'll get back to work. At the end of the 2 hours, I would have finished they would have finished their homework. I would have gotten more work done, and then we can transition into evening family time. Once they go to bed, I'll continue working. Now, I wanted to share that there is an app that B4B has that kind of helps you track your vision, goals, and your tasks using the Eisenhower matrix. So we are giving to the community 30 days free access to the app. If you like it, you can pay for it. If you don't like it, you can uninstall it. I hope Linda will be able to share the other free resources we have. We have 2 that really help a lot of women we've worked with, and that's your energy audit workbook. Kind of lets you know how you move your energy throughout the day, what tasks you should look at, and then also how to actively recover from burnout. So this is my last slide before we take very quick Q&A. I just wanted to share a couple of points from what we've discussed. And that's the first thing, is that goals take their own time. So you may have a goal that will take 5 years, and you may have a goal that will take 2 months. Stop limiting yourself within a calendar year. Make sure that you're doing daily actions to achieve your results. An example is one of my mentees wants to build a school, a secondary school for her mother. Her mother has a primary school. She's waiting to hammer to be able to get the money. I said, no, you can actually start doing daily actions towards that goal. She said, Napa, what kind of actions? I said, yeah, get the name of the school. Try and find out if there's schools that do franchises outside Nigeria that would like to come into Nigeria. But don't always wait until you feel you've gotten to the point where you can now execute. No, look for daily things you can do to move the goal forward, and then build habits, really powerful habits and systems that can make you highly productive, and then prioritize ruthlessly. The one thing you can never get back is time. So you need to make sure that 12 months, you're able to achieve something extraordinary, and then be disciplined, not motivated. So sometimes when you come for these sessions, you will just feel like your heart is burning and you feel like you can change the world. And then you now go and don't achieve anything in 3 months. And that's where discipline comes in. Discipline is understanding the consequences of inaction and making sure you do that. So thank you so much. Linda, I think I can hand over to you. I don't know how we'll do Q&A.
Yes, so thank you so much, Napa. See now, we never start safe, and it's raining gifts and freebies already. Thank you, Napa. I didn't see that coming. Thank you so much for giving to the community. I think we have 5 minutes for questions. So please feel free to put your questions in the chat messages, or you can unmute your mic very quickly and just ask questions. I would ask the first question. I mean, I have the answer, or I think I have an idea, but I really would want Napa to, I want to hear, from her, where she sits and all she has seen. I find that women are very, how do I put it now? When it comes to networking, we talk about networking as one thing that we should have in our, I mean, it's use it as a tool, right? Meet new people, connect, grow. You said something really profound, which really resonates with me, because I keep telling people that my kids would not suffer as much as I have, tilled the ground. I don't expect my kids to come in and start tilling the ground as much as I carry CV, work out all the streets of Lagos. No, they're not going to do that, right? And that's why I'm trying to build meaningful, connections and build my network such that you can open doors for them. And you did say that. But I find that when you have gatherings where you have women, right, whether it's a social gathering, whether it's a professional gathering, you find that more women are on their phones and minding their business and not wanting to share. They don't want to connect. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's pride. I don't know what it is really, right? It's an event, right? Walk around, ask, introduce yourself, get numbers. How did I meet Napa? I met her at, I think I will share. I met her at is it the Africa Tech? I don't know, one of these summits,
Yes,
right?
last
And
year. Yeah.
yeah, and she spoke, and I just went to her, and I've been eyeing her on LinkedIn. I said, no, this lady is not going to go today. I'm going to ask her for her number. I'm going to understand her essence. And I got her number, and she's here today, and that's the entire essence of networking. But I find that women don't network as much, or I really don't know what it is. Could you share why that is, and how we can now confidently start to lean in? And then,
Yeah.
you can have your questions put in the in-chat message so she can pick it from there. But Napa, you can answer this.
Yeah, and I find that it's African women more. So cultural things come to play, maybe negative experience as well. Sometimes when you network, you're open to harassment from the opposite sex as well, especially when you are younger. For me, it's at my age and at my level, it's a bit challenging. But for younger women, sometimes a man will see your networking request as she's trying to tell me she wants me to chase her and all that. And then confidence. And then another thing is sometimes networking, I think, it's been so overused that we forget the purpose of it. So I always say that for networking, lead with value and curiosity. Don't lead with wanting to make a connection, right? So when you see something that's interesting to you, so you have to actually build the muscle of curiosity. So when you meet somebody, you really want to know what they're doing. Haven't you ever seen this thing when you connect with somebody, Linda, and you're in a event and the person's eyes start moving? They're looking for somebody in quotes better that they can talk to. My first paid gig came from somebody that absolutely, because they're not leading with value and curiosity. So there is maybe what I can do, Linda, is to share with the community. There's a guide I have around, putting together your personal brand, because that's the first step. The first step is, what are your values as a person? What do you want to be known for? Then you know who you want to connect with in line with that. And then lead with curiosity and value. So when you want to connect with somebody, so somebody like you, Linda, if there's a community of health founders that are based in the US that want to really understand the emerging markets, you want to connect with them because you have value you can bring and you're curious about what they're doing in health tech in the US. You see, so it's now become such an enjoyable experience, but so it can help you with the dread you feel. And the last point I would say on networking is, look, you have to be very self-aware. You have to learn small talk. Unfortunately, I practice small talk. I'm being very transparent here. I practice my small talk. I'm not naturally a small talker, but now you can put me in front of anybody and I can strike up a conversation. It's not natural. I practice. I did some trainings. I did some courses. Even the way you emphasize your words, the way you keep the cadence of your conversation going, so people are interested, those kind of things, the way you shake hands, the way you walk into a room. It wasn't learned behavior and it wasn't natural behavior, it was learned. So understand that you are growing. But yeah, again, sorry, Linda, my very, very last point, to practice my small talk, every time I checked out at Ebano, I would practice small talk with the checkout girl. Can you see something that's so small, but it's a daily action or it's a regular action? I will try and strike up a conversation. I will try and make a meaningful connection. And then I will try and make sure I'm memorable, because that's the whole point of networking. So I didn't practice in the events. I practiced in Ebano when I'm checking out.
Thank you so much, Napa. I see that we do not have. Oh, okay. You mentioned there's one question. So we'll take this question and then we'll just move on to the next speaker. I think the next speaker is Rachel. So Rachel, please get ready to share your screen. Napa, this question is for you. You mentioned that you always have random coffee chats with link connections on LinkedIn. It's a bit challenging to have conversations with random people. To have conversations with random people. So I wanted to ask, how do you have this random chats so that you don't appear like a stalker or stuff? And this is coming from a dark
Yeah.
equivalent.
Rachel is nodding. Is nodding. Okay, so remember what we said about personal branding. Remember what we said about personal branding. Like, you don't just reach out. Number one, you don't reach out to random folks, right? You reach out to people that align with kind of how you're positioning yourself online, right? That's one. So two, you have to make sure that there's content on your page that aligns with what you're branding as. So the people you're reaching out to are in line with that brand. They're not just you wake up, it's random, So maybe you would see something they did that's really impressive in line with what your personal branding is about. So let me give you an example. One of the things I speak about is revenue acceleration for startups. I may see a founder that's did an insightful LinkedIn post. The founder is in Rwanda, and I'm trying to really build my network in Rwanda. And they talked about how they didn't really understand pipeline management, and now they started using it effectively. I'll respond, I will put a comment, and I will say, so insightful. In fact, I just did a post about it. Or I would say, give additional context to what they've said. And then I will send a connection request. And I said, look, I loved your post. Make sure it feels like a human being, not ChatGPT. Like, be sincere, curiosity, value, personal connection. Hey, I really loved your post. Do you know a lot of founders struggle with this? Would love to hear how you made the mindset shift in this area. Would love to just connect, have a virtual coffee for 15 minutes. Remember, the person may not respond, but the person most probably will respond and say, yeah, would love to, and you connect. And in the connection, make sure before you have the meeting, make sure you go through the person's LinkedIn profile, go through their socials, get one or two, plan the conversation. Don't just appear. And it happens to me so much because I have something called Napa, Cafe Napa, where people come in and just connect with me. And some people just appear like this, and they're like, Napa. And I'm like, oh yeah, now say something now. And they don't have anything they have to say. So you plan the conversation, look at what is top of mind for the person, plan 2 or 3 questions, and make sure you come in with that curiosity and the desire to give value. So you're really looking forward to the conversation. So that's how I do it. So you can already feel that what I would leave with is a very genuine connection, as opposed to stalker. I'm just going around looking for who to be bamboozling on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Napa. I think we would end it here for Napa, but I would also want to add that I do like to tell a balanced story. Napa said all things profound, but in actually practicing your small talks, also at the back of your mind, I think you should leave some room for rejections and disappointments. I don't know, maybe that's what I'll call it, rejections, really. And I'll tell you, because I had a personal experience. This is somebody I used to look up to on LinkedIn. So very impressive lady, right? You would think that she's all of that when you see her in person. And I've been, I don't practice small talk even before I met her. So I met her at Casablanca Airport, and I was like, oh my God, this is this person. I was thinking, should I approach? Should I not approach? What do I do? This is how they say women don't talk. Women don't. You've seen this person in real life, in flesh. You cannot go to her. You are feeling jittery and all that. And I summoned all the courage. I was so tired because I landed at about 11:30. She was also trying to. And I walked up to her and I said, hello, my name is so and so and so and so and so. Ha. And the stare down was I've not been able to shake off that. How do I put it now? I felt embarrassed. I felt all kinds of ways, right? And she just looked at me. My hands were stretched out, and she turned and she left. If I call her name, all of us know I'm no worry. We know him, but it happened, and I said, no, 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 no. Maybe these are the things. When I hammer, I'm never going to be like this. This is not going to be me, but it happened. So let's have that. Just have that small. How do I put it now? Just keep it there. That this person might also not even react in a way that I want her or him to react. Napa, please go ahead.
No, Linda, I agree with you. I had the same experience. So let me be
Ah,
very transparent. So it's a good balance. But my own experience was different, was that there was somebody I looked up to so much online. So guys, online, offline, they're two different things. And that's why I
they
always
are.
say back your noise online with real content and value. And I couldn't wait to speak to her. Like I couldn't wait. Like when you see her post everything, and Linda was so disappointed. Like I felt
Yeah, we are
it's
talking about the
I
same
know
person.
how you are feeling. No, no,
Oh
no.
man,
I don't know if
it
we're
was
talking
terrible.
about the
It
same
was
person,
terrible.
but I really felt so bad about it. So this is where you need to, like, you know, this is why I keep on saying self-awareness. You need to build your resilience. So
Yeah.
if you know you suffer rejection, don't start with doing small talk in an event. Start doing small talk in this kind of settings.
Yeah.
When Linda says, "Do you want to comment?" Start practicing. You see, I didn't practice with big people. I practice with people at checking counter that must be nice to me. You know, if they can be rude, I'll be like, "What are you doing?" So you have to know yourself. I did mine little by little, stage by stage, and now if you reject me, I can move on. But that incident really impacted me. So Linda, I get where you're coming from. It was hurtful, to be honest.
It was. I couldn't sleep. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Napa. I don't think we have any more questions. We're going to be moving straight to our next speaker. I think that would be Rachel.